hear me okay over the sound of the washing machine? This is a little jar of honey that I got from the Falkland Palace bees. Luckily there was enough so that the gardener had some spare ones to sell, so I very quickly snapped one up. I've been keeping this one kind of squirreled away because if Joshua knew where it was, he would be having it all the time. So this is my own secret little stash. I'm just going to pop some in my porridge today. Good morning, here we are, Tuesday, day 4 of my June vlogs. I'm going to say July. It is about 9:15 in the morning. It's an in-service day, so there's no school. I don't know if you have in-service days out with the UK, but it's basically a teacher training day, so the teachers are in, kids are not. I haven't seen Joshua yet this morning. It's highly unlikely that he's still asleep at this time in the morning, so he's probably lying in bed reading his book or something. So I just sneaked downstairs and just sorted things out down here to tidy up, put the washing on. I'm washing some bedding, but I had spaghetti bolognese for my dinner last night, which was delicious, but of course I had a cream jumper on, and what happened? I splattered on it. So I've just given that a little spray with some stain remover, and fingers crossed the little splash comes out. I can't wear light colours and eat dark food, it's just inevitable that I'll spill it. So I'm just going to have my breakfast, and it's really sunny at the moment, so I'll go and have a little look around my garden, see what's what. And it's meant to rain this afternoon, so can't really make any big plans to do very much or go anywhere. We do have to pop out I'm going to go to B&M, get some plant pots hopefully, and that's right next door to Aldi, so we'll probably pop in there and get a few groceries as well. And just going to have a really chilled out day today hopefully. It just dawned on me last night in bed that there's only 3.5 weeks left of school, so that's put me in a bit of a panic, because that means I've only got 3.5 weeks to really work properly. If you follow me on Instagram, or if you saw my last full-length vlog, you will have heard me talking about the bee-themed boxes that I'm doing. At the moment I think there were 2 left, but I just saw a sale pop up on my screen, so there might only be 1 left. So once that's gone, that's it. I won't be listing anymore, because I really have hit my sort of maximum as to what I feel comfortable that I can make in the next few weeks, because they must go out at the end of June, and I also want to be able to do a big shop update as well, so that there's some stock in my shop over the summer holidays, so that I don't feel sort of under pressure to make more things over the summer, because realistically it's really difficult for me to go and work when Joshua's around, because it's not really fair, and it doesn't feel nice to me to sort of have to get him to go and do something while I work. So over the past couple of years, this is how I've done things over school holidays. I've just filled up my shop and not worked unless I've had the chance to. Sometimes Joshua goes to maybe a sports club in the holidays, so then I can work. I haven't talked to him this year about what he wants to do, if he wants to do any, so if he doesn't do that, then he'll be at home with me every day. So yeah, I know that tomorrow it's going to be a very different looking vlog, because it's going to be heads down and I'm just going to be working like mad. So yeah, today will be the last day of fun until the weekend, I think. So yeah, we'll see what today brings. This is my summertime morning ritual with my morning cup of tea. I sit on the doorstep. There's a cat wandering about. This time it's Tilly. A couple of years ago it was my lovely little Felix. And yeah, this is just a lovely way to start the day in the summer, and in the colder months, in the winter months, I really miss this part of the day. If my day starts off with a bit of sunshine, then it's a good day. I still haven't seen Joshua yet this morning. His bedroom window's just up there somewhere. And I'm just wondering, at what point do you actually go and check your child's okay? Kind of half just enjoying the peace and quiet for a little while, because this never ever happens. I never come downstairs on my own. He's probably been a lazy little thing and just lying in bed playing on his GS or reading his book or something. But I think I'm going to go and check on him in a minute just to make sure he is actually okay. Wrap up a couple of orders that I need to go to the post office. I maybe should have done it yesterday, but I just completely forgot. What with it being school holiday and stuff. Washed my jumper from yesterday twice and the stain is not coming out, so if anyone has got any tips for me, please let me know. I've just used this spray on it both times I've washed it and it hasn't come out. I really should have done it last night and washed it straight away, but if you can tell me how to get that out, please leave me a message. I'm just going to quickly toast some hazelnuts because I need to make some more energy balls today. I finished the last ones last night. I think I showed them in my latest full-length vlog. These ones I'm going to make, I call them Nutella balls. So we're going to have hazelnut and chocolate in these ones, but not actual chocolate. I'm going to use cacao powder because everything's going to be healthy and natural. So I'm just going to toast these because it really brings out the flavour of them, and that is the flavour that is in like Nutella or Ferrero Rocher. So if you're going to use nuts for anything, or seeds, if you toast them first, you will find that it really deepens the flavour, and it really changes the flavour as well. Actually, it makes them so much nicer. So I'm toast them for about 3 to 5 minutes or something. Just gotta be careful they don't burn. So I'm just going to leave them on, and I'm just going to quickly wash the dishes because I still haven't got around to doing that yet this morning. And then I've got the second load of washing to hang out as well. Just enough, as you can see. Like some of them are just starting to take on a little golden colour. You don't want to overdo it because burnt nuts and seeds are really bitter, so that will do. I'm just switch the heat off in the pan. This is a cast iron pan, so it'll stay hot for a while, so it will continue to toast them a little bit longer while the pan cools down. I'm going to let them cool completely before I make the balls, and that way they just crisp back up again. They're nice and crunchy in the balls. Make my chocolate energy balls now, and I'm going to go for a sort of chocolate hazelnut flavour. I don't use a recipe as such, so I'll just make it up as I go along, but you basically need a mixture of wet ingredients and dry ingredients. So for my dry ingredients, I'm going to use some oats. I'm just going to put them in the blender. I've got the slice and chopping attachment in there. Just add your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients and just mix it up until you get a nice texture that you can squish and roll into a ball. There are plenty of recipes out there, so you can look up a recipe if you have never made them before. I would suggest using a recipe the first few times, because then it just gives you an idea of what ingredients you can use, and you might find some nice combinations that you hadn't thought of before. So I've just put oats in there, sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, and I've got my toasted hazelnuts. I'm going to put some of those in just now, so I'm going to blitz that up into a bit of a powder. I'm going to put in a little grind of salt as well, because that works nicely with anything chocolatey. I'm going to use cacao powder for my chocolatiness. You can use cocoa powder. Cacao powder is more natural. It contains just cacao powder, whereas cocoa powder contains a few other ingredients as well. I had a look at one of the tubs that I've got. I don't know what the other ingredients are, and I prefer to eat things that I know what they are. So I never get this quite right. I either put too much or too little in. I think cacao powder is not as strong as cocoa powder, so if you use cocoa powder you might want a bit more. With that. I'm also going to use the cacao powder at the end to roll the balls in. So I've just got a bowl here, which I'm just putting some cacao powder in. So that's my dry ingredients. So I'm going to just whisk that up into a powder. That is quite fine now. I'll see if I can just show you. So what I'm going to go in with now, I'm going to use the dried apricots. These are unsulfured. I did talk about these in my full-length vlog post the other day. I got these ones at Costco. So I'm just going to go with these. You can get these at Holland & Barrett as well, I think. They're quite expensive there though. These were at Costco. This big bag was around £5 or £6, I think. So in here I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. I'm going to make that 14 because I don't like 13. So these are counted as my wet ingredients. Normally, sorry, I just have to lick my fingers. Normally I would use dates in balls like this. Dates go nice and squishy, especially if you soak them in some boiling water first. But these are so squishy and so sweet that I want to try making the balls with them. And I'm going to use some nut butter. I've gone for cashew because cashew and almond are not particularly strong in flavour, and I don't want to use peanut butter and then it goes and overpowers the taste today, because I want the taste to be the toasted hazelnuts. I would normally do peanut butter ones because chocolate peanut butter is a great combination, but for today I wanted something that wasn't quite as strong. And I'm going to pop in a little bit of vanilla just to get that sweet cakey flavour again. And I'm going to give that a good whiz up so that the apricots can really get chopped up and mixed in. So I'm going to give that a whiz again. Actually really nice. My mixture's quite dry, so I'm going to put in a bit more of the cashew butter. This one, the oil is all set on the top, so I haven't stirred it in, so I'm just going to add in a little bit of the oil separately, because that should help the mixture come together. You can really taste the apricots, but they don't taste like apricots. It's more like if you were eating like a fruit and nut bar, it would be like the raisins. So they just add that sort of sweetness. It's really nice. I haven't put the rest of my hazelnuts in yet because I don't want them to be ground up too finely. I want them to be quite chunky so that you get a nice, crunchy, tasty hazelnut every now and then. So I'm just going to mix this up again and see how. Okay, I'm going to add in my hazelnuts, but I'm also going to add in a little bit of coconut because I do like to roll the balls at the end in something dry. So I'm going to do some in coconut I'm going to roll some in the cacao powder. I've just got them sat in bowls for in a minute. The mixture still seems a little bit dry, so I may have to just add a little bit of water or something. I'm going to put the rest of my hazelnuts in now. And I'm going to give that a few mixes. Just testing this to see whether it will come together, and it is coming together into a ball, so I'm happy with that. I'll just give you a closer look at the mixture. So if you just, I mean, it looks quite dry, but I've just scooped up a little bit and compressed it in my hands, and it's forming a ball and it's staying there. So if it was too wet, you could add more dry stuff, and if it's too dry, add more wet stuff. There's no harm in adding a drop of water. Some recipes ask for coconut oil, but I find coconut oil makes them pretty greasy, which I'm not too keen on. So I'm just gonna make these the size that I want. I usually make them about, I don't even know what that's the size of. Yeah, about that's probably about the size of a Ferrero Rocher, really. These are not too oily, so I don't know how well the coconut or the cacao powder is going to stick to these actually. They may not need a coating. Sometimes a coating is nice if they are quite oily, because when you've used coconut oil, I find that if they look oily, it kind of looks disgusting. I don't like the look of that. So here we are, just rolled it into a ball. Focus. And then I'm just going to drop it in my bowl of cacao, and if you do it in a bowl, all I do is swirl the bowl round and the ball coats itself. That's actually coated really nicely, and these look just like truffles that you'd buy in the shop. They look really nice, I think. So I'm going to pop them into my little dish. I always like to put them in there, and then they look nice in the fridge. So I will coat half in the coconut and half in the cacao. I'm not convinced that the coconut's going to stick brilliantly, so I'll try one and see what that is like. There are so many different combinations of flavours you can do for the balls, so go and have a look on Pinterest or just Google energy balls and you'll find so many different combinations. These ones are quite bitty in that there's still chunky bits of seeds and nuts and coconut in there, but if you had a more powerful blender than mine mixer, it would make it into more of a paste. Or if I did it longer, it would be more paste-like, and then you would get a real sort of fudgy, brownie texture. The coconut is not sticking at all, so I'm just going to not bother with the coconut, I think. I'll just do some with cacao and some without. These store in the fridge perfectly for about a week or so. If you want to make them a little bit, the texture even nicer, I would suggest popping them in the freezer, because then they go hard, but you can still bite through them. So it really is like, I guess it's a bit like if you were to bite into like a Mars bar, and it's that nice, thick, sort of caramelly, toffee texture. Just gives you that quite nicely. And that's my finished balls. So hopefully they've got a kind of Nutella flavour. I'm going to have a little taste of one now, I think, before we pop out to the shops. I'm going to put them in the fridge because that's the best place to keep them, and I might try putting a few in the freezer for myself for later on tonight. I'm just going to give one a wee try. That is so good. Really good. That is amazing. That beats a shop bought cereal bar any day. I don't know if you can see it properly. Not really focusing. And you see all the different little bits in there. There's still bits of seeds and nuts. And there's no taste of apricot in there at all, like the normal dried apricots that you get. These unsulfured ones really just don't have that strong apricot taste. I would just say they taste like raisins in there. So that is delish. Just as I'm finishing my little taster one, I'm just thinking that what would take these to the absolute next level of amazingness would be to melt some dark chocolate, and you could dip them in it or just drizzle some over. Or instead of making balls, you could have just pushed it down into a tin or a bowl or something, I made it like a flat, like a tray bake, and then cover it with chocolate on the top and then slice it up. That would be amazing. These are the best energy balls that I've ever made. I'm glad I've got the recipe now documented on this vlog, so I'm going to make these again, definitely. These would be great for taking in, for sharing, so I might do these sometime when I go and do my volunteering, because everyone would love them. And everyone kind of laughs at me sometimes when I talk about my healthy sweet treats. But I think they think that I'm mad saying that these are so good, so I'll have to make them some so they can see for themselves. Again, I've got a big pot for my blueberry. I've also potted down a load of tomatoes today. My hydrangea got a nice new pot. It wasn't as big as I hoped to find. That'll do. I've added another hibiscus. This is a nice white rose, and I'm really excited. It's got some nice big buds on it. I counted 3 earlier on, so I'm pleased at that. I have a cup of tea now. Joshua kindly made this for me. It is just after 3:30. We didn't get home from the shops this afternoon until just after 2 or 2 o'clock-ish, so it was a very late lunch today. So the afternoon's gone really quick now. It'll nearly be dinner time. What am I going to have for my dinner? I'm going to make some sort of concoction tonight. I got some courgettes, green beans, I got ricotta. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I keep seeing a lot of nice recipes with ricotta in them. So I'm going to have a play about, and I got some, these are sourdough rolls that you bake at home. They were half price. I don't mind ones that are out of date, as long as I know the date on them and I don't end up buying stuff without realising. That's fine, because they'll go in the freezer. But I also thought that they would be really nice with some roasted tomatoes on them, and I can use that winter savoury again on the tomatoes, because that was delicious. And I could also spread it with ricotta and have some sort of nice garlicky tomato topping on it. So I've got some experimenting to do there. Right now I'm going to have my cup of tea and have a wee rest, because I've been potting things on in the greenhouse all afternoon. So this is what I've come up with for my dinner. It's a bit of a random combination, but it looks and smells really yummy. I've got some potatoes that I needed to use up, so I've just roasted them with some herbs and some spices. And here we have got green beans, courgette, red onion, mushrooms, and some artichokes from a jar, and there's lots of garlic in with them, and that smells amazing.